Have you ever found yourself deep in the creative flow within Midjourney, trying to bring a character to life across a series of images, but just can't nail the consistency? Well, if that's been your experience, you're not alone. By the end of this video, you'll know how to use Midjourney's character reference, or CREF, to maintain your character's unique essence across any scene you can imagine, with a level of ease and precision that might just blow your mind. To help us explore the incredible possibilities of CREF, we've dreamed up a character named Zoe. Zoe has an insatiable appetite for adventure, ready to roam ancient ruins one day and jet off to uncharted planets the next. Through Zoe, we'll see how CREF can preserve a character's essence in wildly different settings. Let's start with the basics. First, we'll type in /imagine, which will bring up our prompt. Next, enter the description of the prompt that you want to create. Finally, add the --CREF parameter, followed by the image URL of the character that you'd like to reference. For best results, use Midjourney generated images featuring a single character. You can also control the strength of characterization using the character weight parameter --CW on a scale from 0 to 100. Setting the character weight at 0 focuses primarily on the face, while setting the character weight to 100 encompasses face, hair, and clothing. Now, let's see CREF in action. We'll place Zoe in two exotic locations. First, the heart of an ancient Aztec ruin, and then secondly, a futuristic neon-lit cityscape. By starting with our reference image of Zoe and adding the desired setting, we'll see how CREF keeps her character intact across these diverse adventures. As mentioned, we're going to be putting Zoe in some of our unique landscapes, but before we do, I just want to go over a few settings with you to make sure that everything's going to run right. First up, go into Midjourney, click on / and type in settings. This will open up a little settings menu for you, and I want you to check a few things. So first up, we're going to want to make sure that we're on model V6, the latest model. That'll just produce some of the best result for what we're trying to do. Additionally, select raw mode. If you're unfamiliar with what this is, Midjourney applies a specific style, which you can call it the Midjourney style, to images. And so to turn that off, we can just use raw. I've seen that this works a little bit better because when you're trying to use a character reference with raw turned off, then all of a sudden sometimes the image can still take on that Midjourney style, which changes it just enough to make it not look like your character. Let me show you an example though of what I'm talking about here. So if you're unfamiliar with the Midjourney website, they are looking to, I think, eventually develop a website so that we don't have to do this in Discord any longer. This is an alpha right now, and I think you have to generate somewhere like 1,000 images to get access to this. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to be prompting or using this, but specifically just to visualize everything, I think we can all agree this makes it a whole lot nicer. So let's check out our first couple of prompts here. We have the same prompt along with our reference image, which is this one right here. So this is our Zoe reference image that we're using. And as you can see here, I typed in anime cartoon character design, beautiful purple-haired woman waving to the camera. And some very important things to point out here, anime cartoon girl, obviously this is the style we're looking to do. I read a few without the word anime in them or cartoon, and they came out looking more like realistic people. So when you're looking for a specific style, make sure you also include that style within the prompt. But I'll show you a trick later that'll help with this. Okay, so now let's compare some of the results here. You'll notice each of these images are using the style raw parameter along with a different character weight. So for example, this one is CW of 0, so character weight of 0. So what that means is it's going to kind of do it's going to take slight references from the image, but kind of going to do its own thing. So as we saw in the original image here, right, we can kind of see a pink shirt, brown khaki pants. Let's take a look back at these. You know, now this one's obviously in a bikini, this one's in multiple different outfits, and you'll also know that the eyes also are maybe purple or a little bit different than what we've seen in this one. She has more orange eyes and purple eyebrows, and these, all the eyes are sort of purple, right? So this one is taking somewhat of a reference, but the weight is obviously at the smallest amount, which would be 0. Now, if we go somewhere in the middle, we kind of get a little bit of an interesting results. Like this one, I think the eyes are right. Obviously the clothing is a little bit different, but not bad. And some of these other ones, they're just a little bit of a different style. It doesn't quite look like Zoe. It definitely looks like we're referencing her, but it's not quite exactly what I would say right. So a lot of the times what you're gonna wanna use is a character weight of maybe 85 to 100 to really capture the essence of her. Now this changes based on the character that you have. Definitely play around with this setting because there is no one size fits all. However, the higher you weight it, the more it's going to look like your character. So now we kind of get to these last ones here, and you'll notice that the eyes are much closer, right? I think in these three, the eyes are orange. You'll see that that tank top that she was wearing in the original image is very similar, although I guess we do have some overalls here. Just so you know, getting the clothing just right is always going to be a bit of a challenge. Again, we have some tools later that I'm going to show you to help with this, but just an FYI, maybe don't sweat every single detail about the clothing because it's going to get really difficult to reproduce those. But overall, I think these are really good. I really like this one here. I think it really represents Zoe, and from one image to the next, there's some slight differences, but there's always going to be that within art, and I think it's within a perfectly acceptable range here. Now, before we move on, I want to show you the images that I actually turned Style Raw off on, just to show you what that Midjourney effect kind of looks like. So here's another one of them with CW 100, 50, and 0. And you'll notice they all kind of look the same, right? We don't really get the orange eyes, a little bit here, a little bit here, rest all purple. They all sort of look the same. So it's almost like the character weight just matters less in this. And this is sort of that Midjourney style that I was talking about. So this is why I like to turn that Style Raw on, just because it's just the raw style. And so Midjourney doesn't influence it to kind of all look like the same character here. That's not really our character. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's head back over to Discord and do exactly what we were talking about before, which is put Zoe into a scene of Ancient Aztec Ruins. I actually love to start my workflow by Googling my images and getting some inspiration for prompts. So let's type in Ancient Aztec Ruins, go to Images. Now let's click an image that we think is cool. So this one here is pretty cool. I'm gonna just go ahead and open image in new tab. So here we have our image. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that link, head back over to Midjourney, and let's use the /describe a link, paste that link, and let's see what it gives us. Okay, as you can see, we got a bunch of prompts here describing the image that we produced. Now, I'm not going to use all of this, and sometimes I think if you prompt too much, you can be confused, especially when we're trying to focus on the character specifically. So I'm just gonna steal some elements from these to help with my prompt. Let's go with number 4 here, a stone building with intricate carvings in the Mayan style surrounded by lush greenery and trees. That's all I'm gonna grab. And now obviously for ours, we're going to click /imagine, paste that prompt in there, but we're going to trade out Mayan for Aztec, as we said before. Now to add Zoe into our scene. So let's scroll back up to my prompt I had before. I would highly recommend using a very simple prompt for your character. You can do the same thing I just did here by using the describe on your image and just get a general description of your character. In my example, Zoe is an anime cartoon girl character with beautiful purple hair. So let's go ahead and copy this and let's combine these two prompts together. So a stone building with intricate carvings in the Aztec style surrounded by lush greenery and trees. And now we're gonna paste the rest of our prompt into there. So now we have a stone building with intricate carvings in the Aztec style surrounded by lush greenery and trees. Anime cartoon girl character design, beautiful purple hair. Okay, so now let's add in our character reference image. First, we'll type in --CREF. Next, we'll go ahead and grab our image of Zoe. So here she is, copy link. Go ahead and paste that to the end here. And then the last thing here will be --CW or character weight. And one of the cool tricks here is that if you want to create multiple images in one go, use these brackets like this. And so I'm gonna use bracket 0, 50, 100, followed by closing bracket. So what this does, it's gonna generate 3 images, one with a character weight of 0, one with 50, and one with 100. It's a cool trick so that you don't have to constantly retype all of this and paste the links, etc., etc. So let's hit go. It's going to ask you, once you do this, do you really want to do 3 images? And the answer will be yes. Okay, so they just came back and let's check out what we have here. So for the character weight of 0, we kind of get somewhat Zoe. It's more of a purple haired woman with somewhat orange eyes, sometimes different. They're okay, but like we said, CW0 is probably not one we're going to be using here moving forward. Again, I just wanted to show you what it looks like compared to the other 2. Now, character weight of 50 actually did a decent job in this one. I really like this image. I think this one could work. A few other these, maybe there's slight differences that just kind of throw it off a little bit, but overall, they're really cool images. And then finally, we have our CW100. This one's good. I mean, you can actually argue that CW50 perhaps did a better job with this. I really like this one here. These ones are okay, but look, it's not gonna work perfectly every time. And the one thing you need to know is that sometimes you're gonna have to reprompt these. So I'm gonna try one more time to see if I can get better results, and then we'll check out those. All right, so we got a few more here. I'm really digging some of these styles, maybe this one or even this one, even though there's just some subtle differences. But as you can see, this is pretty darn close. And if we were to generate it a few more times, I'm sure we'd get more that are even better than this. Now, I'm not gonna spoil the surprise yet, but we are going to get even better than this with some tricks down the line. But before we do that, let's put Zoe in the cityscape. All right, so let's go through one more example really quick. For this one, I'm actually not gonna use a reference image for describe. I'm gonna generate one. So I'm gonna go futuristic, neon style, cityscape. Perfect, so let's go ahead and create those. These look awesome. So let's go ahead and upscale one of these. I'm gonna go with U2. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go copy link. I'm gonna go ahead and use a describe on this. And by the way, once you start typing describe or pretty much any prompt here, if you click tab, it'll autofill the rest for you. So if you're wondering how I'm doing that, just hit tab. All right, so we just got our descriptions back. First, I'm gonna start with our Zoe prompt, anime cartoon girl character design, beautiful purple hair. Next, let's steal some inspiration from our descript. So a cyberpunk cityscape at night with neon lights reflecting on rain-soaked streets and towering skyscrapers in shades of blue and pink. That is good for me. Come on. And now to finish our prompt, we're gonna go with --CREF. Grab our link of Zoe, paste it in there, and then for CW, I'm gonna only go with 2 this time. I'm gonna go with 50 and 100. You know what? Why don't we put a 75 in there too, just for fun? Perfect. So at this point, I think we've all agreed that character weight of 0 is probably not the route we want to go here. So let's just try to compare some of the higher ones and see what we get. All right, they're back. These are pretty good, I gotta admit. I'm really liking these. So we're starting at 50 here. These are decent. And again, let's just go ahead and look at our reference image real quick. So as you can see, the cityscape has actually added sort of a style to this, and all of them are sort of that cityscape style, not maybe necessarily the original Zoe style we're going for. Again, we're gonna fix this in just a minute, but let's just admire these very quickly. So again, we had the 50, we have the 75, which are actually looking really good. I really like this one. I think this one is very usable. This one's very cool as well. And then we have the 100 as well. So 100 doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best. It's fun to just play around with these and just kind of see what you get. But again, I'm really liking these, and I think all of us will agree that some of these do look like Zoe. So I think we've got enough of how to put Zoe within a scene, but now we need to use some fine tuning to really make it look exactly how we want to. So let's get into some of the more advanced tools that we have available to us. So as we were talking about before, we said that the style between our initial reference image and maybe the ones that we're getting here, we're sort of being dominated by the environment that we're putting them in. So for the Aztec style, it's kind of put and changed Zoe into more of a different anime style than the reference image. And same with the cityscape here. So what if we want to keep Zoe unmistakably Zoe in each and every place? In that case, we're going to combine both character reference and style reference. So let's check this out. To do this, head back over to Midjourney, and to make it easy on ourselves, I'm gonna go ahead and grab our initial prompt here from the Aztec Ruins. So let's go ahead and copy that. And so we're just gonna repaste that prompt into our Imagine here. So we have our initial Aztec Ruins prompt. Now, we're gonna do the same thing as before by adding our CREF image along with the CW of, I'm gonna just go with 75 and 100. Now we're going to add on the SREF or style reference, and similar to the character reference, you're going to just paste your image. I'm going to use the exact same image, and the reason being is because I want the style to reflect that original image that we've been using. As you noticed before, it kind of took on the style of some of the landscapes, and I don't want that to happen. I want to keep that original, very almost Pokemon style anime picture that we've been using. And just like CREF, we can actually adjust the weight of this as well. So let me just make sure I have a space in there. We can go style weight, and this actually goes from 0 to 1,000. So for this, I'm just gonna go ahead with another 2. So I'm gonna go with 500 and 1,000. Now, because I have brackets on both of these, I think it's gonna be like 2 times 2 is like 4 or 6. It's gonna produce like multiple images here. Who cares? Let's just see what it produces here. I'm gonna go ahead and click enter. And yep, so it'll be a total of 4 prompts. Let's go ahead and click yes. All right, the new images just finished generating, and you just kind of have to smile when you see this. It is just everything coming together so nicely. This is so much closer to that original reference image that we gave it versus, let's scroll down just a little bit. As you can see, it's a little bit more of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a different anime style, right? So now we have more similar to our reference image, and it's also Zoe. So just right off the bat, this one I think is awesome. Love this one, this one, this one. There's just so many good ones here. And again, let's just take a quick peek at how we're doing this. So when I use those brackets, what we're doing is we're creating multiple iterations of this. So this one has a style weight of 500 with a character weight of 75, style weight of 1000 with a character weight of 75. Now you can play with these all over the place, and I would highly recommend that you do, because you're gonna get a bunch of different images, some you like, some that you don't. But play with these parameters and use those brackets so that you're not driving yourself crazy, constantly reprompting the same things, pasting images, etc., etc. So now onto our final advanced parameter we have here. So a lot of the times what you're gonna notice is that sometimes there's a specific style or posture that you really like, but the face was just wrong in it. So let's say this one here. If we blow this up, I think we all agree that the face is a little bit wonky, but let's just say that we love how she's sitting here, even though her hand is not, let's just ignore that for now. What we wanna work on right now is that face. So let's go back to Discord. We're going to find that image, which is U1, and upscale that one. So as you can see, it's the same image we were just looking at here. Next, we're going to go with vary region. And the best part about this is it actually has all of the parameters that we used before just saved in here, which makes it so much easier. We're going to click on this little lasso here, highlight the face, just like that, and then reprompt. Okay, so the generation just finished, but before I show you the new ones, let's take a look at the old one again. I think we all agree the face is definitely not the same person. So let's click back here. And now, here is our new face. And as you can see, these are a whole lot closer, that's a little wonky, a whole lot closer to what we were looking for initially. And I'll be honest, this first time around, I don't love these examples, but just reprompt it and eventually you'll get one that looks very similar to the character that you're trying to copy. And that's one way that you don't have to try and reprompt the whole scene to change the posture, everything. You can just highlight certain aspects, reprompt it, and it typically does a pretty good job of replacing those. It was bothering me that we weren't getting Zoe, so I actually went back, and one other thing I do want to share with you is when I was reprompting it, I was including a stone building with intricate carvings, etc., but I was just highlighting the face. So to make this work better, get rid of everything and just reprompt specifically for the face. So as you can see, in this one I used anime cartoon girl character design, beautiful purple hair with big orange eyes. And so that really helped to fix that one issue we kept running into where I just couldn't get the eyes to be quite right, as you can see in some of these here. So this one has really started to help to fix it. And like I say, you just need to keep reprompting here and there, and eventually you'll get what you're looking for. So these are much better, I would say. And next time if you are struggling, don't reuse the entire prompt, just highlight the face and make your prompt very specific to what you want to see in the face. This is a perfect segue because what I wanted to explain is that creating with AI involves exploration and experimentation. You may encounter irregularities or inconsistencies along the way. It's just part of the process. If your output doesn't quite match your vision, just don't give up. Use brackets to auto-generate multiple attempts with variations in your prompts, or just simply hit the refresh button to generate new options. Persistence is key. And there you have it, a deep dive into the world of character reference in Midjourney, with advanced tips and tricks to keep your characters consistent and vibrant across any adventure you can dream of. The real magic happens though when you start experimenting and pushing the limits of what's possible. So play around with CREF, mix it up with SREF, tweak the character weight, and don't be afraid to refresh for new possibilities. When you create something amazing, share it with the community and inspire others with your incredible creations. Keep exploring, keep creating, and most importantly, keep sharing your stories. Until next time, happy journeying.